Oh God! I started this video up by choking on my water. Oh God! Oh, already this is the most cursed video that I probably will ever make. And I don't mean cursed in the traditional sense. I mean cursed in the sense of this is freaking Pandora's box. Do not open. Anyway, the XA44 lore explained 5 billion. Yep. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I just sat down after someone in a TikTok said, I want your lore. And I said, you want my lore? Or you're not ready for my lore? And then, and now I'm here. So, I thought, instead of just going over my own character lore, I'm going to go over the entire lore of this timeline. Because, yes, well, actually, it's basically the same thing. I mean, I'll skip over a few things, but basically, everything that you need to know as an audience member. Yeah. All right. So, God, this is just so terrible. I don't even know where to begin with breaking this down. I mean, of course, we start at the beginning. Not that small. Oh, that small. Oh, God. It's not even a convenient size to bring this to because it's so freaking long. I'm not making this longer ever. This middle section here, we'll get to that later. All right, we're gonna just start off. God, I never mentioned how. Yep. No, not nothing. So we start all the way here. So the first segment of the timeline is the Miiverse era, right? Do y'all remember Miiverse? Well, if you don't, it was the social media platform, the Nintendo social media. Imagine Twitter, but instead of Elon Musk, it's Mario. Um, yeah, and also they didn't decide to rename it randomly. Instead, they just decided to replace it with Twitter. So yeah, this segment is very old. So the lore here is really stupid. God, I'm just stuttering over myself. Honestly, you're probably going to watch this video at 2x speed. In fact, I might even record this video in 2x speed and just to get it out of the way because there's no way that you're. All right. So, first off, start of the timeline. First event. Let me get a good color to start randomly circling things with. First event, right here. Ninja Man. So basically, first ever Miiverse roleplay I was in. There was a ninja. Technically, it was all ninjas. I don't know what happened. I kind of dropped. I think it died after like 2 days, and it didn't really go anywhere. But basically, there was a guy, and he was a ninja. Yep. Trust me, this is the most important lore you in the. I'm not even joking. This is possibly the most important lore in the entire timeline. Is that at first there was a ninja. Ugh. Do the explanation of who the ninja is now, or do I go to that later? Could get to that now. This doesn't become relevant later. I'll explain it towards the end. We'll go over the plot, and then we'll go. Okay, yeah, that's the format. We'll go over the plot of everything, and then we'll go into what happens after. Also, I'm not going to be going over every single thing here, because there's too much. So, next off, we go over to here. Another Miiverse roleplay called Bane. Basically, tell a story of this prince guy, right? And how he was a mercenary because stuff happened in his past. And yeah. Yep. I think that's, yep, he kills a demon. That's how that one ends. Yeah, when I go over to the like in-depth explanation at the end, this is gonna be there's so much to get into with that character as well. This is mostly just, I guess, establishing characters. Then after that, we have a prequel, which comes after it and before it. We're not going to get into how convoluted and stupid it is with this taking place both here and here. We're going to ignore the contradiction of this happening before this, but also after it over here in a branching timeline, part of the timeline. Because I think I think the lore was that this is actually canon to all of them, something like that. Yeah, it's something. I don't remember the specifics. It's been a while. I'd have to sit down for a much longer period of time. Right. Anyway, continuing. Then, oh yeah, that's why it's stupid and complicated. Right. So this is actually also incorrectly played. Again, this is the Miiverse era. Things were not good here. So this, while here, is actually also over here. Yeah, I know. It makes so much sense. So after, yeah, I guess I should explain what the D is. Also, the D and the CK are separate, and this line is showing the branching timeline. Yep, there's not anything else at all. Nope. All right, so D, prequel campaign to this, which actually this happened more recently and wasn't in the Miiverse era, but in the timeline it happens in the Miiverse era because I wrote it in the Miiverse era and then brought it back later because Miiverse was dead, and also because it was not a good roleplay thing, and it worked fine as a one shot for like a tabletop role playing game thing. Basically, remember that guy, the prince guy? So he was arranged to be married to this girl, right? And they were getting along very well. And also, they were researching this like really cool like sword thing, where they were making a sword, and the sword would be like really mega powerful. Again, more details. It's not as stupid and generic as you're thinking. It's gonna get more complicated. That's the basis of it, right? Important thing about the sword, though, the wielder of it must be completely pure of heart, or absolute power corrupts absolutely, and they will turn completely chaotically evil, and you just destroy everything around them, right? So, Prince Guy plot twist had a brother, a twin brother, in fact. We'll get into how that was all fight family dynamic stuff later, right? So, happens here. Brother gets the sword. Brother is corrupted by it because no one could wield the sword. That's the trick. There is no wielding the sword. Don't try it. It's not worth it. You're gonna be corrupted, and or you're not gonna be corrupt. But I guess corrupt. I don't know. Sword's gonna make you do bad things. Don't touch the sword. Anyway, he touched the sword, and he ends up attacking the girl, princess, who Prince Guy was supposed to get married to, right? And in doing so, shatters their soul, meaning no form of magic could bring them back from being dead. Oh yeah, also I should mention this is, I guess, in case you know nothing about anything, all medieval. This is all medieval high fantasy, unless stated otherwise. If it's not high medieval fantasy, then I'll state something about it not being high medieval fantasy, or medieval high fantasy. I don't know. You know what I mean, right? So that happens, right? And yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, this is really stupid. I guess the D could make the B come after it because I don't know, we're not going to get into that for now. No, it needs to come before it because oh god, yeah, no, it's we ignore how many plot holes there is here. It doesn't exist. It's not really a plot hole. It's just really complicated thing. It happens before and after. It's fine. It's fine. Right. Then after that, Prince becomes a mercenary, as stated before, and it branches out into three timelines. Right. You've got the original timeline where Bane happens, or is the only thing that happens. I don't remember if it's the only thing that happens, or I don't know. That happens. That's about it. Next, we have down here the CK, which is where Prince goes back to his kingdom, kills his father, takes back his kingdom in a brutal bloodbath. And that, I guess that'd be the evil timeline. That goes on. We'll get to that later. Get to what the red lines over things mean. And then we have Sword Quest. Now remember how I said this is really stupidly complicated and everything happens in stupid orders? So Sword Quest, right? It actually happens over here. But also the branching timeline stuff. It really does not make. We're still ignoring this. We're still. So it takes place over here, and it's actually a prequel to this, right? And basically, it is just a story about these, prince character, princess character, a few other people, go through and freaking they collect 7 legendary swords and they gather them and we get a lot of lore. I guess the lore dump for this could be handled in a second when we get to the blue line split, which is where I go back through all of this and go over the more precise events of things. Okay, yeah. So that's about that's what happens in that. Next, we continue on. I don't remember. Oh yeah. No, that's not what that is. What the hell was this top line here? I don't even remember. It's just you do this for so long, and it goes on to like this, and some things you just really didn't care about that much, and you remember that you really didn't care about them. Is it that? Oh, I think it was it that. I think that this was like a side Miiverse roleplay that technically happened but didn't happen, but it has important lore details in it, so it's kind of like OVA, but it's canon. OVA, but it has canon lore to it. The events of it aren't canon, so I'm not really gonna go over it. Just stuff happens. It's a roleplay on Miiverse, and then Blue Line. Blue Line. People don't know what happens there. No one knows. I know. No one else knows, and you're not allowed to know because that's spoilers. And by spoilers, I mean go watch Soul Veneer Journey, or wait for me to make a part 2 of this, which is just going to be a recap video of specifically Soul Veneer Journey. Okay, back over into the more explicit details of characters. So first off, Prince character established here. They are a pseudo demigod angel elemental being. Their body composition is entirely that of lightning, because reasons involving the twin brother, basically. And their mother is goddess of the sun, Tarasu, and their father, I think, was god of the moon, something like that. Anyway, yep, it sure is. We're not going to get into why they are also a king. I don't think I ever had a lore explanation for that. I think that because the moon goddess thing was a little bit more retroactive. I haven't really thought about it too much. I also don't think the moon god thing is even necessarily canon. That's like a half canon. Couldn't it be a guy? At the very least, like demonic, but I don't know. Fantasy eugenics screws a lot of this over. We're going to continue to ignore things that we can ignore right now because this is the messy part of the timeline. Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad we established that. Right. So yeah, as previously mentioned, they become a mercenary because of Princess character, who, they're a princess. They are arranged to be married to a prince, and then they get their soul broken, and that's about all. Yep, that's it. That is all that happens. I guess the adjacent thing there is that during this time, there was a man in the research facility named Nexus B Anima, or something like that. I don't know how to do the exact pronunciation of the thing without looking at it. So anyway, Nexus B is the originator of the Will of Be, which is represented by this red line at the top. The lines at the top here are families. Ignore how this doesn't line up with this in the slightest. We're ignoring that. Because again, this takes place after this, but before this. It's stupid and messy. We're not going to get into it. Right. So, he also makes an invention that he just names after himself, is his magnum opus, and as part of making it, makes it so the downsides of it, him and his descendants are all just completely immune to, which is honestly kind of rude. The fact that he had the ability to make everyone immune to the downsides of it, and then he specifically said, no, only me. Well, you know, that's what he did. After that, we go over to, I guess, people would be disappointed if guy would be disappointed if I didn't say that it took him 10 bajillion steps. It took him so many steps you don't even know. All right. A heavily quoted thing from him is, I think it was him that said it. There's a lot of characters, and I don't remember his name. If something doesn't take at least 1,000 steps, it's not even worth doing. It's not even real. Not even real. Anyway, after that, we go over to the brother character, who is the exact opposite. So basically, when Prince's character, Revenge Before, was being born, right? They were originally supposed to be one person, but the divine and demonic energies that were like mixing inside, the womb, they didn't mix. So they split apart into two people. No, there's no fusion. There's no like original intended person. It just kind of caused it to become twins. It's normal twins. It's just magical reason behind why it's twins, but they're still just twins. There's no like original person that they're supposed to be. Okay, don't go thinking that. It's not the case. Other than I just said that technically they were one. I don't know. There's twins that do that anyway. So I mean, I don't know. They're just twins, okay? They're the exact opposite of Prince's character mentioned before. Their body's made up of water, and they are a half demon instead of being half native. Did I mention the guy was? Yeah. He took all the demonic energy. Other guy took all the holy energy. Yeah. That is about the extent of their character. Mostly, their existence is just there to give lore for the other guy. They aren't a character on their own. They don't even have a unique appearance. They show up here and nowhere else. They don't get mentioned anywhere else, even. I guess, no, the closest place that they get mentioned is that there's a sword from Sword Quest, one of the 7 legendary swords, which make an appearance in Souvenir. Dexcalibur was actually made for him, specifically, and Excalibur was made for, the other one. But I don't think that's even mentioned in Sword Quest. It might be. I'm not sure off the top of my head if it actually is or not. Where the hell have... Oh. Okay. So, next off, we go towards... Oh yeah, I guess I didn't explain Ninja Man. And I kind of forgot. Yeah, no, I didn't go over that fully. Ninja Man is actually not just a ninja. He's a little bit more mysterious. He's actually named Mystery Man. And if you've been watching Souvenir Journey, then you would know who that is. He shows up there. He's very old. Eternally old. Mystery Man, one of the most important characters in lore. He shows up everywhere. He just kind of seems to know everything passively. No one really understands why. He doesn't really bother people. So, for the most part, all like the great powers and all these big events, he doesn't show up to, and they don't mess with him in return. It's all very chill. It's all very chill. Yeah. He mostly throughout the timeline is just looking for ways that he could, get as much power as he can in order to just, be in a strongest state that you can. Yeah. Next, we go over to the other OVA non-canon follow-up. Because again, I'm not going to the blue line. Blue line's not blue line. We don't know what happened here. No one knows what happened here. It's a mystery. Anyway, over here, some memories. Yeah, they're a thing. Basically, inside every person, there's a gemstone. And when people who are trained take it out of you and they refine it, put it back in, you get a power. It's unique to the person. Different types of gemstones. There's Souvenir episodes you can watch, or just join the Discord server for Souvenir if you want to read the actual rulings of how it all works in specific details. Power system. That's all you need to know. Anyway, that's the first appearance of them. Characters have them. I mean, if people want to know, I mean, I could vaguely mention. I guess yeah, I'll mention the exact powers that people have. You know what? I could give some slight spoilers here. I guess there was also a character I forgot to mention back in this era of the timeline, which was a guy named Kenway. Kenway is the edgiest assassin guy. When I saw the Nothing Personnel Kid meme, I had to check to make sure that it wasn't him who did that. Because when I first saw it, I was like, no, that's Kenway. Kenway is Nothing Personnel Kid. Also, the best role player I've ever been with. Sounds very erotic, but no, great guy. You know, we have King Derp. If by some means you're watching this, I just join the Discord. Let's add each other. Let's catch up. It's been a while. I mean, we don't really know anything about each other as people, but man, I want you in role playing things. Come on. We also have taken your character and used them throughout the lore a lot because they are conveniently lore important in a lot of places. Not like majorly lore important, but like there's a lot of funny places that they could show up. Anyway, so in terms of power system things that people have, Mystery Man, he doesn't have a nexus. The person he tied his nexus to, oh yeah, that's another thing I should mention. Nexus. The way that works, you tie it to a person, and every time you use it, it damages that person's soul. So just don't go spamming it, and the person won't die. You can only have one. That's it. Anyway, Mystery Man, person he tied his nexus to, they're dead. He just doesn't have one anymore. He did. No one knows what's dead because he didn't have it for very long. Maybe he had it for a few hundred years. Not long enough to matter. People are effectively immortal. Unless stated otherwise, just assume that every character mentioned is probably immortal. Alright, cool. Good to know. Anyway, after that, we go to Prince character. They also don't have a nexus themselves just because they never got one. They had one that they gave to a person, but they never got one themselves. Really weird. Their Mori is that so initially their body was, made of lightning. And if to put them in water, it just dispersed and killed them instantly. So their Mori just, made it so he doesn't have to deal with that weakness. Instead, he just, he has to deal with that weakness. The thing is, his body doesn't run out of electricity anymore. So he's just in constant suffering if he ever goes in water. As opposed to dying, which, well, you decide which is better. Also, they're just basically completely stunned in water, so I mean, it's really not much better. It really is probably worse than hell, which I mean, if we have angels, demons, gods, you know that hell exists. I don't know. That's lore that needs to be stated. Cool. All right. After that, people here. Princess character. I'm not gonna give names to like half these people because most of them don't have names. Uh, she is technically this already know they're technically Muna from Soul Veneer Journey. We're gonna get into that later, but for now, Muna from Soul Veneer Journey. That's all you need to know. Well, except they're also not Muna. Their Somamori is that they have advanced arcane magic, and it just works a lot better than most other people's. Yeah, pretty simple. Their Nexus. They didn't get one until they became Muna, which is more complications. Also, the complications of why they have a difference. Muna has a different Somamori to the Princess. We're into that. We're not going to get into that. You don't need to know. I think that's the simple part of it. All right. Anyway, I guess we move over to here, going down still. We have. I've stated what that is, right? Yeah, I've stated what the alpha is. So, yeah. So, purple here is Muna and their path through existence. Back here, near the start of things, their soul was brought to this man. His name was Bimo. He was also a scientist, much like that other guy who was a scientist. They were played by the same person. I don't think either of them were meant to be scientisty. It's really weird. Like two characters that are scientists, but and the other one wasn't even. I mean, the first one wasn't even like their choice. Anyway, they had this cloning machine. So the obvious answer was kill Bimo and force this soul into there so that way each soul could be cloned into a person. It worked, and then there was a bunch of them. Something happened after that, we don't know what, in lore. Something happened. None of them stayed together. After that, continuing down, 18 plus. Basically, sometimes this doesn't happen anymore. We get bored, the Soul Linear people and some other people I know. We'll get bored from time to time, and I'd be like, all right, what if I ran improv one shot and all of them ended the same way? Some FBI agents walked up to them and said, press this button. They always did 100% of the time. Players always did it. And it destroyed the universe. Because entropy or something like that. Also in this time span, we have the very small thing of Made, which is a campaign that someone tried to run, and it failed horribly. And there's technically two versions of it. The version that played out in that person's mind, which is canon to their own stuff, and then the version that actually happened and we played, which is here. And that one universe probably got blown up. We don't really know what happened. It probably just got blown up and no one cares. Nothing. I guess you have to actually explain characters in real time with this part. All right. Next, we go over to. Oh god, I don't think I can't explain this one, right? No, this one I can't explain. That one's spoiled. All right. Up here, you're not heroes. The D&D 5e campaign. People did things, and then yep, bunch of demons. I guess this is the most important thing about this is that it's a good time to mention that after the blue line, starting from the blue line, things before the blue line are a little bit more complicated, but starting from the blue line, the further to the right something is, the more powerful it is, or the more powerful the people are. So left means weaker, right? Then we have directly below that, which was the first 5e. No, it wasn't the first 5e. It was the first campaign that someone. Oh no, it wasn't the first. No, this was a hypothetical campaign that never actually happened, which is a D&D first edition one shot, which was going to be about how some of these families here get their origins. So, which means it's a good time to explain these families. So we've got the Univas, who they have their own set of lore that I'm probably not going to get into because mostly involving stuff from campaigns that I don't run. I'll bring it up when it might be relevant. It might not be relevant very often. I'll go over the basics. Just that way all the lore is in one place, audible for you to hear. The second one is the Grand Paladin Order, which is a group of people who they have a really fancy sword. No one knows what it does, and the sword is passed down from Grand Paladin to Grand Paladin. Kind of just like a weird independent country, basically, of paladins. Paladins, Grand Paladin, you do things. Got a sword. Yep. Anyway, after that, we have 7R. So remember how there was ninjas? Remember how the lore starts with, and then there was ninja. Right? Remember that? Ninjas Part 2. Right? They're ninjas, right? And basically, they have dragons. And the dragons are the Hokages from Naruto. Is this stupid enough yet? Yes, it is. Is this going somewhere? Yes. Mystery Man is important here. This is a campaign that is yet to run. We're in the planning stages for this one, so I don't want to say stuff in case people who are in that watch this. Mystery Man shows up here. He's important by virtue of him being a ninja. This is a campaign about ninjas. And ninja. Yeah. Next, we have this one, which is the actual first 5e campaign that most of the people in the social circle played in together. Yeah, was not much happened here, actually, now that I think about it. Next, a campaign that I wasn't in and didn't run and don't have any relation to, and I don't think has major lore implications until you get like down to like their third campaign over here. But I just kind of have it all lumped into one because all their stuff is just simple successive things. Anyway, that later then branches off into another thing because this here is a direct thing into this, where we have the daughter of this character who also shows up here. I don't think they show up over here. Anyway, they show up over here as the father of a character I play, being the last Grand Paladin. Yeah, wow, that was really short-lived. We had the first Grand Paladin, second Grand Paladin, third Grand Paladin. All right, there's no more Grand Paladins. Funnily enough, there has been more of the blue here. We're going to divide that turns blue in a second here. So, this is an actually mildly lore important thing. Dragons again. There's a light one and a dark one. It's definitely not just Smash Brothers Ultimate. No, it would never. The person who ran that would never just rip off Smash Brothers Ultimate. All right. After that, we get into Andrew Jackson. Not the character from Sylvanir who suddenly exists now. No, it's just the person that's based off. Anyway, they did a campaign also in this part of the timeline where honestly it was just a lot of random nonsense, pretty generic. But it's where we established. Oh wait, no, this is technically no, it's both of them because he did two campaigns that both technically happened like sequentially. So again, I just simplified and oh no, what I did, there's the A here and the J here. Duh. Makes perfect sense. But they're disconnected. Except for the part where they're actually connected. No, they're not connected there. They're connected here. So the image here is slightly wrong. So this here is going to get a rerun at some point, which is going to tie it to here. And we're ignoring that for now. Anyway, important thing about these is, do you remember the Grand Paladins? Well, their family lineage didn't die because a woman. Instead, a really edgy guy was born, and he said, I don't want to be a paladin. So he became a pirate. And thus the Grand Pirate Order was born. Anyway, they don't really understand why they were paladins, but there's just a crew of pirates who just call themselves the Grand Pirate Order. They still protect the sword, but they don't have the sword, but they've got like a sixth sense that tells them where the sword is. Yep. And that goes on for 5 generations until it makes the end, where, they were all pirates, and then eventually they didn't plan for the fact that, oh yeah, girl pirate. They're too adventurous. They don't want to have a baby. That's a little too much of a commitment. Nah, not doing it. So they decided not to have kids, and the family lineage ends there. Amazing. Amazing. All right. Anyway, next we have the looping possibilities of the campaign known as. It's actually got 2 names, and no, it's got 2 names, but they technically. It's got 2 names and 2 segments to the campaign, which are very different. Everyone insists that they're very similar, but no, it goes from pure sci-fi to super high fantasy. I don't buy it being directly the same. Anyway, looping possibilities, things called guardians, which protect concepts and give them swords. It might be relevant. It might not. Anyway, proceeding on, we have P. Yeah, that's right. P, which was a Pathfinder campaign. I guess that was the good thing about this. There was not anywhere near as many important, characters in this segment of the timeline. So P was a Pathfinder campaign, known as the Reignited War Between the Gods, which technically means that it could be considered a continuation of over here, because they actually happened to directly connect in terms of the backstory and the ending, which was complete coincidence. So these are technically connected, but in the loose parallel universe kind of sense, because there's not enough direct connections because it wasn't intentionally done. Anyway, there was a group of people who got an axe, which allowed them to travel universes. Mystery Man visited them. Important thing number 1. Important thing number 2. There was a girl here named Auroras. She was the princess of some, Fae world. And they were known as the Dreamweaver due to a unique power they had to enter and control dreams. This campaign ended because people stopped showing up for multiple months. And then it just kind of was like, well, if people aren't gonna bother to show up, I'm just gonna run something else. And then I did. It's not even like people didn't like the campaign. No, people just stopped showing up. We even tried to go on random Reddits and get people to do it. Nope, even then, no one could be committed to join. I wasn't even they just didn't show up at all. Some people didn't even show up for a single session. They went through the process of making a character, and I was like, okay. They didn't show up, and yeah. All right. After that, Bleach campaign. It's another time loop. This one started to run, and I stopped it because I didn't have time Technically, I could start it back up. Yeah, no, people don't have time. Basically, people don't have time. There's a time loop. That's all that's important. And then we go over to yes, this one, which is the start of act really, really big important. Honestly, it's really funny. Like, there's so much stuff here, but like most of the stuff here doesn't matter. Like, all of this is irrelevant. All of this is mostly irrelevant. Well, no, that one's kind of relevant. This stuff's not that relevant to a lot of lore. This isn't relevant to a lot of lore. We got like, no, this actually, yeah, that's not relevant. This technically is relevant to things, but not like majorly. It's mostly relevant to itself because it's multiple campaigns, but it eventually kind of starts tying into the stuff over here towards the end. Anyway, here we have the start of a prophecy. Sci-fi world. That really kind of right. Anyway, there were these 5 machines. Each of them had some special magic elemental power inside them. Some bumbling bandits decided we're gonna steal those machines and sell them. They stole those machines and they blew up the entire planet. So then some like sages were like, this isn't good. Alright, let's seal these guys away. Except like these two are really strong. Let's yeah, they're gonna break out. Yeah, like once every 50 years ago, there's someone will try and summon these guys again. Just like someone stop them or something. I don't know. And thus the prophecy was made. Every 50 years, the being of light and the being of dark would do things. Amazing prophecy. Oh, yeah, that's because I forgot to completely mention. Red line here means the timeline just got deleted. There should be a lot of red lines at the end of this, but there isn't. Oh yeah, which is also why there's the red line here. Because there's like a more notable thing, which ends with it gets destroyed. Non-canon. Alright, anyway, then we have I guess to go over these. I mean, these are things that haven't finished yet. Well, this one's finished, except it also hasn't finished because it's getting a part 2. And you remember those Guardian things? There's also Nemesises, which are just the opposite, effectively. That's all you need to know. This one, currently running, and I'm in it as a player, so yeah. I guess I will have to go back to the start of this thing and explain what various characters are doing during this time. There's a lot of like background things that are happening in this. So first off, then we have the trilogy, Garbage, which is another time loop, if you could believe it. We've only done, this is also a time loop based campaign. So in total, we have, oh, this is also a time loop based campaign. I kind of skipped over it because it's not completed, and the campaign kind of fell to pieces before a lot of the story was gonna happen. There's a goddess, and they get turned into a thing, and the thing happens, and yep. Anyway, yes. Wait, how many time loops is that? It's only 4 time loops, I think. I think we only have 4 time loops canonically. That's not that bad. There's probably more that we don't know about because they're pretty common. Anyway, remember that dark being from the here? Yeah, it's waking up again. And then people started time loop to stop it. Yeah. I guess the important thing to note is that during this time, uh, God, it's really complicated. There is a girl and a dog. Except the dog becomes a person. And that dog is also the prince. Except not the prince. We'll get into why it's not actually the prince later. But for now, no, it's technically that guy, but not that guy. Yeah. Anyway, it gets stupid. All right. This is just the same thing, except it's not a time loop, and it's about the light being. Oh, and also remember that dog? Yeah, they're the summoner for the light being. Yeah. Anyway, after that, uh, we have a very small P. We don't talk about the tiny P. Uh, this is also a thing that hasn't happened yet, but will probably happen eventually. Decide to campaign someone else is doing thing that they're planning to run, and we've put on the timeline for the sake of being convenient. Yeah. Anyway, then we have Garbager, the sequel to Garbage, which is actually a double sequel. We go on that time. I think this one happened. We had this one, then we had Garbage, then we had Garbager. In terms of the order in real life that they happened. In universe, they do happen linearly. Thankfully. We don't have any more of this nonsense before and after at the same time. Garbager. Yeah, so remember how the guy was trying to summon the light being? So he succeeded. The world's now scorched. And he's gonna destroy the multiverse. But then the dark being shows up and is all like, do you want to try again? And some people are like, yeah, I do. This is the first appearance we get of the most lore important character, probably, Muna, from Souvenir Journey. Battled against the light being and their disciple as no, not disciple. I had a word for it. There was a fancy word for the people that these beings summoned that were like they're like summoners, but they're not just summoners, and they're like the disciple. No, it's not disciple. Something like that. I don't remember the word I used. It's been a few years. Right. Anyway. So battled against him, and Muna ended up dying. But they made a deal with the prince guy, who by this point is now called Captain, which is my avatar. Yeah, see the guy bouncing around on screen? That's Captain. It's trust me, it's going to get more complicated. Or ignore the names. There's a reason that these people don't have names, because if they did, it would get so stupid and overly confusing. And yet somehow that makes it even more stupid and overly confusing. Anyway, they made a deal with that guy, saying, hey, I'll fuse you with your best friend, which is a lobster, and you guys could be friends together. Because they were like the two old ones of the party, because it was a permadeath campaign. It was like hardcore, and a lot of people died. And they were like, oh my god, the only other person who like was there from the beginning, I could be together with them again? Of course I'd want that. They didn't want that. They think they did. They really shouldn't have. So Mystery Man jumped in, going at Mach 10 billion with time effectively stopped due to their incredible speed relative to everything else there, because Mystery Man is freaking immensely powerful. And he just went, let's just oh yeah, I guess that's something to mention. When people died in this world, when the people of the dark being died, their soul stuck around as a music box, which was turned into a magic, which would turn into a magic item when you activate it. Anyway, Mystery Man went in, grabbed the music boxes for the two people, and he said, "Not letting that happen. I have to make it look like this worked. I'll drop Excalibur here. That'll work." So he dropped Excalibur, and at the time, Captain had his memories wiped, so he didn't know that it was Excalibur. So it was just like, oh, okay, well, time to make good on my promise and give it back to those people. Guess. Yeah. Anyway, Mystery Man brought them to this place known as the Realm Beyond God, where they went on adventures. Muna and the lobster. Just a lobster. It was just a lobster. Straight up just a lobster. And then, after that, they decided, we don't, this adventuring thing, it's cool, but we'd like to try again. Put us in a new universe. Which, little did they know, is exactly what Mystery Man wanted them to do. Mystery Man might be a little bit, he's got his schemes, he's planning something. Let him cook, let him cook. Alright, anyway, back to the start. To go over what important characters are doing during this time. So, first important thing that you have to know, basically at the start of the Blue Line, on top of this thing going on with the Muna and her clones, the Prince character. Well, you see, you remember how the birth was super complicated and they became twins? Plot twist, they weren't twins, they were quadruplets. But there was only two bodies. So basically, human half existed within both the angel and demon part of them. Human was the one who was primarily in control for the most part, between both of them, technically. But they had the soul of both, an angel and a demon. With the demon guy's dead by this point, it doesn't matter. Prince had a soul of an angel that technically existed separately, but they were both the same person. Because again, this is where they were originally one person thing does apply, where hypothetically, if they fused together, they could be one complete person. However, they did not. And in fact, they did the opposite, where at the start of the Blue Line-ish, the exact time, they split off into two people. Yeah, that's right. The angel one and then the human one. Split off in different directions. You might be wondering, huh, so the captain guy from Garbage Earth, he's following the light being, but he's kind of evil, isn't he? Because he destroyed the multiverse. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't mention, that's what happened at the end of Garbage Earth. Multiverse was destroyed. Except for one. Well, the multiverse was destroyed, brought down to a universe. Anyway, yeah, the angel one is evil. But like, a lawful evil. So it's okay. And the other one, which is named Hero, sets off on a quest to, I don't know, probably take out that other guy and accomplish their actual goal from the start of this, which was bring Muna to life. Except not Muna, it's the original one, and get their own personal happy ending. So they went on an endless chase across the multiverse to try and find very important person. Well, very important people. Basically find all the clones. And eventually, during some part roughly, I don't know, we'll say here in the general vicinity of here, sometime between here and probably like here, sometime between those two lines, he found one of them, and they were living happily. And then they got killed by Captain. So then Hiro kind of learned his lesson. He went, well, I'm not allowed to be happy. Instead, I have to be strong. Thus, they then went forth and found Muna in the past and killed them so they could be revived later. And by when they turned into the Dark Being. Because they knew that the events happening here would happen all the way back here. Again, we're for now not gonna question why or how they knew this. Because it was probably Mystery Man who told them. When or how did they meet Mystery Man? Mystery Man's freaking everywhere. He's existed since back here. Look, you're gonna meet him eventually. If you're both like the only people who have existed since before the blue line, because the blue line starts off with, and then the one universe became like infinite, an infinite finite amount. You two of you are you're gonna cross paths at least once, probably. After that, Loring, yeah, there's so much lore. So much lore. Do I get into how a person boned a cat? No, I think it's funnier if I just say, someone boned a cat. It's lore. It's very important lore that someone boned a cat. Who? This family. The purple ones. Pink, kinda. Why did I make them pink? I think I tried to make it more purple. Why did I end up making it really pink? Or is it pink because I always call that guy gay? Might be that. Anyway, anything else I need to mention here? I'll drink a little bit of water because I've been talking nonstop for like an hour already. Yeah, I don't think there's anything too majorly important to go over in this second passing. Went over things a little bit better. All right, then now I'm gonna get into like the hyper detailed stuff because we're into the Soul Manir lore, which is the things that you guys need to know most about. So, yeah, after all the multiverse got blown up, it was really bad. Like, you can't even begin to comprehend how terrible that left the one remaining. Magic was in a completely wild state. However, there was people who tried to survive. Bunkers underground, made with simulations of a world, mostly empty. There wasn't time to complete the project, but there were survivors who were given a chance to experience living, grow power in a fake world, but time to make solutions to problems, to escape the simulation, and then start building a society, potentially. Outside, there was chaotic magic. And, well, the machines that had made up those simulations eventually, well, the metal was a little bit more useful than some fancy video game. The last remnants of any technology were dismantled for parts, and civilization was brought back into the Stone Age. People died constantly, everywhere. But people were strong. They found ways. A set of crystals that grew throughout the world. They repelled magic. taking these crystals and tying them to sticks, making something like a torch, people had eventually started finding ways to move about, reunite with different civilizations, find people, find home. Let the beginnings of a society start to form. And, well, people weren't content. So, over time, there was a set of magical relics that were found within this state. 10 people, much like the 10 beings from before, found a set of staves that could harness this chaotic energy for a brief moment. And with this power, I managed to do something that was thought to be impossible by society at the time. They voyaged into the heavens themselves, went to the gods, and said, yo, this is like really not cool. You're gods. You should do something about this. So the gods said, yeah, we could do something about it. You know who else could do something about it? You. You now have the power to control magic. What? I guess that might be a little bit much for you. Okay. Well, first off, there's a dragon that kind of already exists in the world. He's gonna just start soaking in this chaos. He's gonna become chaos. He'll handle everything that's going on. To stop this from happening again, we're gonna put in these fairies, and we're not gonna. They're gonna exist, and they're gonna be slaves to keep magic in order. Slaves. You know what? You want slaves? All right. Here's some elves. Right? Take these elves. They're your slaves now. Slaves? No, I mean, they are noble warriors from the heavens. They shall serve you all, for you are now all king. Anyway, back to the fairies. We're not paying them or anything, so how many like someone who I don't want to look at. There's three great fairies. Those ones. They won't betray us because they're cool and they don't have to deal with slave labor. I mean, the noble work of saving the world. Anyway, we fixed the problem enough. I mean, you just kind of dump responsibility. Good. Now return to the world of the living. I mean, it's safe now, right? Yeah, it's safe for now. Okay, and they left. And they left. Anyway, cutting forward a good few hundred years, eventually, the world had settled into Na'vi. But magic in existence, and there now being people or anyone who could control it, well, adventure was sure to spring itself about. Adventurers started to appear left and right, taking on different voyages, engaging in battles, and, well, society as you now know it within Journey started to exist. It was not a simple process. The hatred for adventurers and magic as a whole existed for a long time due to, well, magic being seen as a negative thing because of how many people it had killed before the voyage. But as time went on, eventually the past was nearly forgotten. Until, well, not until, no, it was, no, it doesn't really change. Mystery Man. He said, well, got these souls here, Mr. Rotus. Mr. Boss Man. What do you want me to do with them? Alright, my wife's pregnant right now, right? Put them inside her. Whoa, what? Yeah, I'm killing my kids. Whatever you say, Mr. Boss Man. And thus, in a rather gruesome manner of a forced miscarriage, technically, Lobster and Muna were born as twins. Yay. Really messed up. Anyway, Rhodas killed his actual kids. You know, I mean, it's not important. They're dead. They never even got a chance at life. And, yeah. That really does kind of cover most of what happened there. There, I guess, watch Soul Veneer if you want the rest of the lore. Oh, God. Because, yeah, that's the gist of it. You start there, you watch the journey. If you want, you do the fast playlist, which covers only the essential events from the story, and it skips out the sessions where people are, just doing dungeon runs and stuff like that, or more mechanical focused sessions, just or ones where there's side quests or other unimportant things going on. It's like half the length. So, start there. Might just decide to ramble on about what actually happens in here in case you don't feel like watching that, but you want to come join into the series. So, if you want more lore, then stick around as I cover everything that happened in Soul Veneer Journey so far. I guess. As, I don't, yeah. Other things, I guess I could go over really quickly the lore bites from the Soul Veneer server. Somewhere in here. Alright, lore bites. Oh yeah, Baloney was retconned. Very important lore. There's 2 moons within the Soul Veneer world. That's cool. There isn't any more. There's only 1 moon because a guy blew him up. We'll get to that, when we go into the summary of what's happened in Journey. Oh yeah, another very important thing to lore. All the way back, Salt got taken out of existence by that, Nexus B guy. He kind of just accidentally destroyed Salt across the entire universe by accident. Maybe it was just the entire planet. Probably universe, though. So yeah, just Salt doesn't exist. It's okay, though, because it got replaced by a chemical compound that could do the same thing. Anyway, time magic. In the set of nature spells, there exists time magic, and it's illegal because there's people who have created a monopoly on spices. Also, when I say time magic, I don't mean time as in time, I mean time as in the spice. And there's illegal time production rings and time lords. And the owner of the monopoly is called the Time Overlord. I don't know what you mean. This is very important. Oh yeah, you're saying mention that the 10 people from the voids to the heavens are I guess it did mention 10 kings. They were each given a legendary spell, which is tied to their very bloodline. Yeah. I don't really think I need to go too much more into that, but I mean, yeah. Legendary spells. Neat. Anyway, summarizing everything that did I just put Discord join software? What does that sound? I sort of like the Discord join for no reason. Did something happen with my connection? No, everything's going fine. Alright, summarizing Souvenir up to this point. Starting on the Fast playlist. The journey begins. The entire party gets together and fights this guy named Blade Swordsman for their right to explore the clock tower, a mysterious thing that suddenly just started existing one day, and everyone seems to accept the fact that it's always been there except for the party. People happened. They worked for the king. They didn't have money. Nightmares are a thing. They eat dead people. Nightmares eat dead people. It's very sad. But also, Luna seemed to have a strange tie to these people, knowing a spell called Backup. It's very important. Anyway, after that, Getting Lucky. Was that the one where Luck got us Somamori? That was very fast. I don't think that's the one. I think that's the one where it revealed that Rodus was evil, which you kind of already knew by this quick summary. Not a normal drunk. I don't even remember what happened in that one. Fighting Fighter, they went to the Nature Tournament, which is it's like annual tournament at the Nature Kingdom. And yep, War of Metal. That Rodus guy came in there's robots. Luck's Lucky Break. No, that was the one where he got his Somamori, which gave him the power to weave fate. Ghosts of the Past. I think that's just another episode about ghosts. Luna Get With Me, which was, it's Luna because this is before, because Luna's memories got wiped, so did Lobster's. By the way, that Omar guy is a lobster. The Luna's sibling, Omar, he's a lobster. I'm not getting into it. Anyway, episode 10, You Are Weak, which is where this party freaking gets the heck beaten out of them by Rodus, as he shows people in this world can be a lot stronger than seemingly physically possible. After that, going mega, the entire party the rest of the party gets their Somamoris. After Luck had gotten his a while ago. Yeah. The important one there, though, is that... Oh, yeah, that thumbnail is incorrect. Yeah. Important thing to know there, though. Muna's Somamori is a scythe, which holds the spirit of Hero. Did Hero die? We don't know. But he's in the scythe now. And he's just inside Muna's soul most of the time. Pretty comfy. Because it's also technically me. Yep. After that, Blade be back. Blade Swordsman returns. And for like 2 minutes. More stuff. Party members change out. So if you do decide to watch it from the start after hearing the script, anyway, Luck remembers his past and how another member of the Rodus crew named Sator killed his family. Kinda messed up. Luna finds out about their soul thing that I just mentioned. The party decides to kill the Grand Behemoth, which is a giant monstrosity that just wanders the world randomly. They go to the moon, and after visiting the moon, they gather their first souvenir, the name of the system. And with that souvenir, Muna and Omar are able to regain their memories, except Omar doesn't regain his memories because the gods, while watching this event, decided, ooh, that Omar guy isn't, ooh, he's not good. He's a bit evil. He wouldn't use this for good. He was a bad boy as a lobster, and he's a bad boy as this current guy. Let's just shatter his soul. And so they did. So yeah, Muna really hates the gods now for killing their brother in front of them. Anyway, no guys, they do just fight 100 imps. Loka comes back for an episode. Now the Fate Weavers, Star learns more about their fate weaving power. Stuff. B. Blade Swordsman, the really cool guy, has a sister. After that, we get introduced to the fourth Rotus crew member, Opera. They're a person who does potions. There's a really big robot out there. Yep, that was an important thing. Light King and Star have a fight. Except at that point he wasn't Star, I think. He was... Actually, no, at that point he was... No, he was back to being Star at that... No, he started becoming Star at that point, actually. Anyway, Blade be Blue. Blade Swordsman, after getting a hole pumped in his chest by the Ultimate Robot, joined the Rotus crew. Even though the Rotus crew is the ones who make the robots. We're not going to get into it. He got bribed because his sick sister could be cured by the potion lady. Star gets a Nexus. I think that's what happened in that episode. Probably. Violence. Yami took off his scarf. That was a highly more important anyway. Steamy Dads. That's a video title. I don't remember what happened there. And eventually I'll go through all of these videos and it'll start making sense. Star clips. Man, a lot of this plot is just about Star, isn't it? Going through all the episodes here. Anyway, after that we got Dream On, which is a fight that Star did between him and Oprah. And beat him up, like, instantly. And a really cool fight. Highly recommend that episode in terms of combat. It's really great combat. Nexus. Star finally ties his Nexus to someone, and Muna gets their Nexus and also ties it to someone in that same episode. After that, I Am Art, Observe Me. It's a very important episode where they get introduced to the character of Art, who, I mean, he's just a really cool Japanese dude who just has a sword and also definitely wants to kill the entire party for seemingly no reason. Yeah, I guess something that was also happened earlier with Nightmares. King of Nightmares. Same deal. White Grass. That was an episode where the thing that was just mentioned happened. Not the thing the thing that happened recently in the more recent episodes where they were introduced to the Kingslayer, who was the guy who did. Remember that Light King? Yeah, his dad got killed by this guy. And also a lot of other kings have been killed by him. Remember how the kings were supposed to stabilize magic or something? Oh, a lot of them are dead now because of that guy. Except, actually, only the frickin' Earth King is dead. Earth is the only element without a king. The rest of them had kids. Anyway, Two Paths, Williams Bullying, more stuff involving Amaterasu. It's not really that important if you watch this episode and you already know the lore. Boop, 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 boop. Boop. Icetown arc. There's a lot that happens in the Icetown arc. So, Icetown arc. Party gets to a town after beating the Rotus crew individually each, not as a full party. They just beat each member individually. It's not that they're gonna do a big fight later. Just fight one. They're gonna do a round two, right? And what happened is, look, they said, "Hey, we're gonna bring you to a town." So they brought him to a town where there's a lot of problems. Yep. After that, a lot of fighting. A lot of fighting versus a lot of people. This is also where Muna first meets, well, I guess no, this is the second time that Muna's met another clone of themselves. This is the first like important one that properly shows up after it's already been established earlier in this lore explanation video. Yeah. Yeah, they are a no elite soldier within the Ice Town. They're enemies. They both want to kill each other after learning about what exactly they are supposed to do, which is kill each other and take each other's soul and absorb it. Radical, ain't it? After that, that's actually pretty caught up to where the party currently, or how the playlist currently is. Did I go over how they found out about soul refinement? I don't know. They found out about the power system, which is soul refinement, which is basically just your generic anime power system of, yep, kind of like ki or chakra or spiritual pressure or Paki or we have a chat dedicated to Jeff making this joke. Hold up, let me go to that chat. Hold up. Where is it? Please tell me I'm still in that server as the person who owns it didn't delete it. Just gives a be somewhere. Here it is. Hold up. Somewhere here. All right. Breathing technique, bloodline ability, sacred treasure, Nen, their grimoire, friendship, a lion robot, Aegeus, their Stan, their yep. Demon energy, spirit energy again. It's slightly different. All right, yeah, that's the entire thing. That is the entire list of animes with the generic power things that we have in that chat. Not as many as I thought. Not as many as I thought. Anyway, there's more lore that I should go over with individual characters. Cover everything? Definitely didn't. I know I skipped over a lot of things. So I gave the briefest summary as I could to keep this video slightly short. I'll pause for a second and think. Oh yeah, I did forget one super important thing. Yeah, remember that Dreamweaver character from before? They also come back. And they're also part of that princess from way back before, who is also Muna. And then also, the thing there is that they also were the light being plot twist. Yeah, remember the light being from Garbger? That was plot twist secretly actually not just a random monster. It was actually Muna. And the dark being was actually secretly Hero. But that is memory wiped as on account of him being a giant monster. How did he get sealed inside of a robot? Why did he end up as a robot to begin with? How did a living thing become? Why did a living thing become a robot? Why did they choose to? Why did they kill someone, knowing that they'd get turned into a robot, knowing that that would lead to them later being brought back in order to fight each other, in order for them to still be left with one universe at the end of that anyway, at which point they are then brought back to fight the person again, and hopefully win this time. Fingers crossed. They might not. All right, I think that's all the important more. I think I should cover everything. Is it? Yeah, I think that's a super abridged version of everything that happens in lore. At first, there were ninjas. In the end, there's a bunch of people who are doing the violence because they all killed each other. There's a squad of 4 people that killed everyone's families. I'm not even joking. Everyone has a dead family because of the Rogus crew, with the exception of one person who's got a living family. Or whatever that one's not there, but we'll get into that. I think I covered. Yeah, that's all the basic lore. Comment if you have any questions because it's good for the YouTube algorithm, and I'll answer them because it's good for the YouTube algorithm. And also like the video. And also, if you're hearing this, subscribe. You just watched an hour-long video or an hour and a half of just me rambling about random lore. This isn't even like content. This is just like a random lore explanation. You shouldn't care about it. Subscribe. This is the bad content. If you're able to sit through this, the actual good content, you must find that super enjoyable. Then it's just like you have to. I mean, it's just like good. Put a lot of work into it. Please. It deserves attention. Speaking of things that deserve attention, you watching this, you're all special. That's a weird note to end a video on. Like, comment, and subscribe.